in some ways I was really lucky that those first 4 films were not successful commercially. None of them made money, but none of them really cost that much money, so nobody was mad at me. But I always did have ambition of making big Hollywood movies. Like, that's just always something I've wanted to do, and who wouldn't want to do something big and outrageous and spectacle and fun?
Do you have a sledgehammer in your heart? Because I have a sledgehammer in my heart.
After Snow Angels, I just had a little bit more confidence in how to manage money, how to manage a set, how to work with actors, and I really put a specific agenda at trying to go make a comedic film, because it's like, most of my friends thought it was really weird when I made George Washington, because they know more of a Pineapple Express type of me and a day-to-day relationship than they do the sentimental, emotional, dramatic, moody guy, and I'm that too, but it was kind of working towards that, because in an ideal world I lighten up and I go dark and I switch it up and try something new. So Pineapple really, you know, in the trust that Judd Apatow and Seth Rogen, who brought me into that movie, actually based on Danny McBride's suggestion, which I think, you know, I'll always be very thankful for, is, you know, he basically was talking to them and said, trust David with this material, because I think we'd do something crazy with it.
Don't. Just something quick like that.
Yeah. Don't.
Yeah.
Don't.
Stop it.
You stop it right now.
And then that just changed everything, because I then I did have the confidence when, you know, I could walk into a meeting and say, this is why I'm right for the job. Even when you're developing something as expensive as Your Highness, which is on the page excessive and extravagant and indulgent, and sure enough the production was as well, it's finding that trust with the financial entities, with the actors, with the technicians that are going to try to make it something special and memorable.
You shouldn't smoke.
I know it's bad for you.
No, I mean, you shouldn't smoke. You look stupid.
As a moviegoer, like, I just love seeing all types of movies, so why would I want to get my hands dirty and try different genres, different approaches, different techniques? You know, I'm inspired by so many people. Why not try to apply, you know, different ways to look at films? And to me, that's the fun part, is just exploring something uncertain and always maintain that vulnerability and that appetite of the love I have for cinema. It's always been my sole ambition. George Washington, I literally just went and got a job for 9 months and made as much money doing several jobs as I could, and then continued to sleep on couches for about 3 or 4 years, and just, you know, lean on friendships and relationships that I had that were supportive of getting a little weird and making things that weren't necessarily commercial, but felt important for me to express, and surround myself with people that were gonna collaborate with me, and yeah, it's still how it works, only it's just now you get paid.
Hey, Mary Margaret.
Hey, Mustache.
Hey. Man, check her out, dude. Look at that on the street. I'd like to hang out with her for a few afternoons, man, make some pizza.
Do what? Do what?
That's gross.
Let's go.
You know, you find these kind of connections with people early on. McBride and Jody were on my dorm room hall in college, and you know, we still hang out, you know, and communicate daily. Danny and I just moved down the street from each other. So it's a cool way to work, and a community of trust and creativity.
Here we are. Put that goddamn baby inside there. Stupid fucking baby.
I will have this car back tonight without a goddamn scratch on it. My name isn't Kenny fucking Powers.
There you go. Okay.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Wow, what happened?
He just puked all over your upholstery.
What?
I think his body's rejecting the Pepsi.
Oh, shit. Okay, I'll be right back. I'm gonna go get some spray.
I mean, I learned something on every movie. I feel like I'm still really naive in a lot of ways, but, you know, keep the crew small and lean, keep the movie economical, and nobody asks you really what you're doing, and it's kind of, you get away with a lot if you're being discreet and you're nice to everybody, and nobody's bringing ego or attitude to it. And not that I don't pop off every now and then, because I certainly do, but I remember actually that was a production where I said, if I lose my shit one day, you know, I'll shave my head and then I'll show up the next day and I'll be a gentleman. And so that happened one time.
If the way I raised your mother means that she hates me, but that she's prepared for the horrors of this world, then I can live with that.
Honestly, the beauty of someone else's script is that I'm less possessive about it, and I'm more playful with the script, because if I've written something, it's in my head that way, and until it's said that way, I get confused, and I'm trying to give adjectives and directions to motivate them towards what's been in my head for the last 6 months. If you've written something and you're handing it to me direct, You can say that, or you can say something like that, or you can say something your way or my way, we can play with it. So I find myself a lot more playful in someone else's material, and that's a really fun way for me to work, where it doesn't come with so much preconception, but when there's a good script and it feels like it gives you the bones and the essence that you need to then be playful, it can be really nice to have someone have structured it for you and then hand it to me to sabotage.
I'm sorry.
Don't say that.
I'm so sorry.
Hey. Don't say that.
I try to create an environment that does feel really playful and spontaneous and organic of the opportunities that we have that day, whether it's the sunlight or an actor's idea or my boom operator's idea. You know, I like to, I don't by any means claim to be the master of the set. I'm kind of a conductor, and everybody needs to play their part, and you know, here's the solo over here and the duet and the a cappella, and like let's bring in the symphony.